What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video, and in this video, I'm just going to be talking about my thoughts on this Nintendo Switch 2. How I feel about it, because I got it in July, and it'll be December tomorrow, so, like, what's my feeling on it, you know? What are my thoughts? Do I regret buying it, you know? So, I'm just going to be talking about my experience with the Nintendo Switch 2, and just my thoughts in general. So, let's dive into it, shall we? First thing I want to talk about is just my first thoughts when the Switch 2 came out. So, before it released, and after it was announced, I was not planning on getting it anytime soon. I was definitely planning on getting it, just I was going to wait a few months, because I didn't see the point, and the only game I was really excited for was Pokemon Legends ZA, and that game was going to be on Switch 1, so I was like, what's the point of getting a Switch 2, right? So, as you know, but I saw the games coming to the Switch 2, and I just kind of couldn't help myself. I decided that I was going to start saving for it, and I really wanted it all of a sudden. That initial first direct blew me away. I was like, whoa, and I was so excited for the games. Especially this one right here, DK Bonanza. I was so excited for this game. This game basically is the reason I bought a Switch 2. I wanted this game. I wanted this game so badly. And because I just thought it was going to be just like a Donkey Kong Mario Odyssey. I'm not a big fan of Donkey Kong. I've only played one Donkey Kong game before, and I really didn't have fun, but also it was a gift, and it was a 2D platformer. I'm not that into 2D platformers. The person getting it for me didn't know I wasn't into 2D platformers. So, didn't have that fun with it. Still have it, but it was a Tropical Freeze, by the way. And so I've never been to Donkey Kong before, so I was just kind of like, this game looks amazing. Let me get it. I just thought it was going to be a Mario Odyssey 2, basically. I was so excited because I love Mario Odyssey. Mario Odyssey, one of my favorite games of all time. And I wanted this game right here, right there. But, I needed the Switch 2 for it. And once I saw the games, mainly Donkey Kong Bonanza, I was like, okay, I need this thing. But by the time I decided I wanted the Switch 2, there wasn't really enough time I couldn't get the money fast enough to buy it in June. And I didn't really want it, like, that fast. I was just like, okay, I can wait 1 month. And I ended up getting my Switch 2 on July 16th. I got this thing on July 16th. And for anybody wondering, this bad boy came out on July 17th. So I got this game day 1. Yeah, the day after I got my Switch 2. And as you can already tell, I did get the Mario Kart World bundle. So, the day after I got my Switch 2, I had 2 new massive games to play on it. Mario Kart World and Donkey Kong Bonanza. I was just like, whoa! So excited. I was so excited for this. But I haven't actually ever mentioned this on my channel before, but Donkey Kong Bonanza let me down. I know, right? I know so far. I've hyped it up so much. But this game right here let me down so hard. It's a great game, though. Like, this game got nominated for Game of the Year. That never happens with Nintendo games. So, it's clearly a wonderful game, and I know a ton of people love it. But it let me down. And what I mean by that is just, I got my expectations too high. I was too excited. I was expecting this to be as good as Mario Odyssey. I don't think this game's near as good as Mario Odyssey. Of course, Mario Odyssey has the nostalgia factor, but I wasn't expecting this game right here to be... I was expecting it to be as good as Mario Odyssey, but it wasn't. And it let me down too much, and that's why I have mixed feelings about the game. If I didn't get my expectations that high, I probably would have just been like, this is a great game, But I got them too high, and unfortunately, every time I think about this game, I can think about the weird feeling it left me with. Not being, I didn't feel fulfilled. I do not consider this game a masterpiece for that reason. And in case you're wondering, for me to consider a game a masterpiece, it has to, there has to have a lot of qualities, but the biggest one is it just has to have me leaving with a lasting, strong feeling. And because of such a letdown with this game, I didn't have that feeling, and that's why I just couldn't consider it a masterpiece. I did consider it a masterpiece because I was like, Caleb, it's a good game. You just didn't get, your expectations were too high. But then I thought about it more, and I was like, well, for a game, for me to consider it a masterpiece, I need to have a good feeling after it, and I didn't. And I probably would have if I didn't get my expectations too high, but I did. And that's my fault. It is my fault I didn't like this game. And that's okay, we all kind of make mistakes. I just got my expectations too high. Things happen. But, this game's a great game, and I do recommend it. I'm not trying to make this game sound terrible. I just, personally, it's more of, this game is a great example for a game that I think you will enjoy, but I didn't. You know, it's so weird like that, right? But yeah, didn't care for it as much. And you know, I need to bring up Mario Kart World and the fact that I think it's a great game, Mario Kart World. It, you know, I did also feel a little bit let down by it, but not as much as Donkey Kong Bonanza because, you know, I got my expectations high for this. I kept my expectations reasonable for this game, and they were met. But that's not a great thing, you know. I was like, this game will probably be pretty good, but you know, met. And yeah, it was. It was what I thought it would be, which wasn't amazing. So, you know, what you gonna do there? But my main problem with Mario Kart World is just the lack of tracks, and it sometimes feels like a downgrade from 8 Deluxe. Like 8 Deluxe was an amazing Mario Kart. It was like my first ever Mario Kart game because I got into video games with the Switch. So, you know, 8 Deluxe, loved the thing, right? But to be honest, I mean, I cannot tell which one I like more, World or 8 Deluxe. The mechanics and racing itself in Mario Kart World is amazing, but the amount of the just large and ginormous amount of tracks in 8 Deluxe is so hard to beat. 8 Deluxe is an upgrade from, well, Mario Kart 8, and it got the DLC, so it just has so many tracks where it's just insane. Compared to this game, which I don't know the exact number, but it's like 25, maybe? Like I said, don't know the exact number. And I think they tried to justify that with the amount of intermission tracks, but those do not feel like real tracks. They feel like you're just driving. I do not consider the highway in front of my house to be a racetrack. Those don't count. So, because of that, you know, like, I love Mario Kart World, but expectations were met, but like I said, just not a great thing, you know. Kind of wanted it to surprise me. Also, I think two other things I hate about it compared to 8 Deluxe is that it took away where you could customize the items in the match. Hated that. And battle mode. Battle mode, I really like Shine Theft in 8 Deluxe, but they just took that mode away. Like, I love Shine Theft, and then just took it away. Straight up, just took it away. Was not a big fan of that. So hopefully the game gets updates, and if the game weirdly, like, those were my main problems with it. If they get updates to fix the items, make it where you can customize them, add a better battle mode, and just add a ton more tracks, that game will probably, for me at least, easily surpass Mario Kart World. So, like, there's potential. Because I think the racing itself, the mechanics, are fantastic. That beats the mechanics in 8 Deluxe easily. But, like I said, it just doesn't have enough stuff. You know, we need more. If you had the tracks from 8 Deluxe and then the racing from, you know, World, then you could have a masterpiece of a game. Just a simple racing game could be a Game of the Year contender if you combine those two things. But you didn't, so it's a mediocre game. So yeah, like that's just kind of like how I very first like experienced the Switch 2, right? Because at first I was not planning on getting that anytime soon. Donkey Kong Bonanza, I was like, you know what, I'll get it for that game. I was let down by the game. My expectations were met for World. And the bundle, I mean, it was like, I won the bundle because I was like, I'm not going to skip out on the brand new Mario Kart, same $30. Not a bad deal. I highly recommend you get a bundle of any game. Legend ZA also got a bundle for Switch 2. I mean, ZA is an amazing game. I'll talk about that later, but like, please get a bundle. You're saving like $30 on a game. I highly recommend getting a bundle. Like, highly. Oh, right. For one more thing is that this game right here, too expensive. $80 is ridiculous, because even if they added more content, I don't think it'd be worth $80. They would have to add a new skin or a new something, maybe twice a month, for it to be considered $80. They're not doing that. It's been months since the game came out. Nothing. So like, that's my fourth gripe with that game. It's just way too expensive. Ridiculous that's $80, but well, I don't know why they did that, and it's stupid. Still, good Mario Kart, just with those flaws, it's a little bit like, oh well. Next thing I want to talk about is telling you my gaming experience, specifically the games I have played on the Switch 2. Just giving you quick thoughts about them, just how have they run, how much do I like them. So, yeah. And here they are, by the way. All my Switch 2 physicals. I understand this one isn't really a Switch 2 physical, but, I mean, it came out after the Switch 2 was out. I mean, it gets an upgrade if you're playing on Switch 2. This one's basically a Switch 2 game, so I like to count it with all these. So, yeah. And I also want to mention No Man's Sky, which you might be like, why are you mentioning that? You know, it's a little random. It's not first party or anything, but that game's really good, and I got it like 3 days after Donkey Kong Bonanza. So it was Mario Kart World, which right there, Donkey Kong Bonanza, and No Man's Sky. Those were like my three like starting out Switch 2 games. Love them. You know, I already talked about World and Bonanza. No Man's Sky, great game, you know, because I love the Switch 2 edition they added. Makes it a lot better than Switch 1, I guess. I mean, I never played the Switch 1 version, but probably a lot better. I mean, it's No Man's Sky, so if you played the game, you know really what you're getting, but good game, and yeah, had a lot of fun with that one. And then this game came out, and most people do not have this game for either two reasons. Where like, most people don't even have this physical. Is Mario Party Jamboree is a great Mario Party, but a lot of people who love Mario Party just got this game when it came out. I never did. The second this game came out, I was like, I want that. Never got around to it. Heard Switch 2 edition. Was like, well, I want a Switch 2 game, another Switch 2 game. Play my Switch 2, so you know, I was like, let me pick this up. So I did, and it's a really good game. And I highly recommend this, the Switch 2 edition. And a lot of people aren't going to agree with me. So yeah, I've actually never talked about this game before on my channel, but great game. I love the Switch 2 edition, but I know a lot of people don't agree with me. The Switch 2 edition is great because of the DLC. That DLC it adds is amazing because, you know, I love the main games. I know some people don't care for the main games in Mario Party Jamboree, but I love the main games that it adds with the mouse feature. The mouse feature mini games or the microphone mini games. Any mini game in that Jamboree TV DLC is just amazing. I mean, straight up amazing. This game's DLC is amazing. I think it's amazing. I think it should be $10, not $20, because it doesn't increase, like, it doesn't upgrade the quality of the base game, which is stupid. So because of that fact, it should be $10. So it technically is overpriced, but it's still, I think the mini games just save this thing. And I understand most people do not recommend buying this, but I would. And now the reason most people don't have this is because they already got Mario Party Jamboree when it came out. They were like, I already have it. This doesn't look interesting. I think you should upgrade it, but, you know, they already had this. They weren't going to spend money on this, so most people don't even have this physical. I do. Already said why. Mario Party Jamboree, it's a great game. This was like the first Switch 2 edition they made. I love this so much. You know, like, I always want to play Mario Party Jamboree, and I got to, like, nice quality and upgrade. So, I love this, but I know it's not for everyone. Okay, now we're just going to be moving on to the next game. Which is, you know, this game. Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 bundle. I have not played this yet, the second one. I played the first one, like, the second I got this game, and then I never played this guy. I'll tell you right now the reason that I never played, the second one, and that is because of this game. I will get to it in a second, but it was also because of this other game. Here, it was because of these two games came out, and then these two games filled my life with joy. When I played this one, these two came out, so no time for that one. I mean, I bet the sequel's great. I just never played it because I was busy playing these amazing games. By the way, I beat, at the time of recording this, I beat this game today. So, that's cool. But yeah, so I really don't know I can't say anything about the second game. I think you should buy this, but you may have already played it. It's just a remake, and the first Galaxy came out in a bundle for the Switch 1 before, so you may already have the first one on your Switch. So, like, this is not for everyone. I'm really glad they remade it, because a lot of people were like, they're going to put Galaxy 2 on the Switch, they're going to put Galaxy 2 on the Switch. And I was like, oh, well, I would love to play that, but I want to play the first one first. And then they made this, and I was like, oh, so you did what I wanted. That's great. Continue to do stuff I like. And they did this. So, I mean, the first one's fun. Like I said, a little bit distracted, you know, for the second one, but still, first one game was great. Don't really know how the second one is. Like I said, didn't play. Now we're moving on to these two, which I've already alluded to. This one first, and Pokemon Legends ZA. Mwah. It's a very simple mwah. Perfect. It was wonderful, amazing. Play this game not on your Switch 1. Do it on Switch 2. Like, sometimes I think I should have just waited for the bundle of the Switch 2 and this to come out before I got Switch 2. I'll get to that later, but this right here, amazing. I love this game so much. It's wonderful. I mean, that's about it. Great. I mean, real-time battles. I mean, you've probably heard about this game before. I've talked about it extensively on this channel. Speaking of this channel, I completely forgot to mention, but the channel is another reason that I decided to buy my Switch 2 so early in the year. I was going to buy it later, but I started making YouTube videos, and it was a little bit hard to make YouTube videos about Switch 2 content without a Switch 2. So, kind of encouraged me to buy it. But yeah, this game's wonderful. I'm not going to spend too long on it. Go watch one of my mini videos on it if you want to know, like, more of my opinion. But this game's wonderful. You should play it. This game's amazing. Please play this game. Sorry, it's just wonderful. And now we're moving on to this game. Final, like, physical I have. And this game's also mwah. It's recency bias. Yeah, it's a ton of recency bias right now. But, like, it's a great game. Like I said, I beat it today. So, I mean, I haven't started the post game. Play this game. Especially if you're a Zelda fan, do not play this game before Tears of Kingdom. It just kind of ruins the whole experience. Play Tears of Kingdom. You want to find out what happens in the past. Play this game. This game's story was amazing. If you play Tears of Kingdom, please play Tears of Kingdom. Pretty much there's one thing I want to say about this game besides that's amazing. And that is this guy right here. That little construct dude. And the Korok. Yeah, I want to talk about that in the story and the controversy. Where a lot of people say this game has a bad story because it copies Tears of Kingdom. Yeah, shut up to everybody saying that. Sorry. Don't want to be rude, but golly, no. This game's story is amazing, and it's like, a lot of people are like, it's just filler, but it's great filler. If you, like, want to have meaningful moments with the characters that you hear about in Tears of the Kingdom, this is the game to do it. I mean, one of the game's biggest flaws, I mean, I didn't really mind this, but there's a lot of, like, NPC characters that, like, aren't important to the story. But my favorite was this, like, Barton guy, or Brandon, whatever his name was. He wore a pot on his head, and he had a spear. He was a Goron. I love that guy. He was in my top 4 favorite characters from this game. I love that guy. He's one of my favorite characters. So, like, you know, not all the NPC characters bad. But my point was that a lot of people say the story, this game just, it's the exact same as Tears of the Kingdom. I disagree, I think, but one of the main reasons I disagree is because of Construct. They had this whole, like, subplot, which ties into the main plot a lot, but it's also kind of its own thing, where it's about this Korok and this Construct, and they go on these adventures together, and, yeah, I mean, like, I don't want to say too much, because this game's recent, I don't want to spoil anything, but, I mean, the amount of content that the Korok and Construct add is insane, and there's even story reasons that are told through this game why you don't hear about that in Tears of Kingdom. Those two made the story feel fresh for me, and I even played some Switch 2 edition of Tears of Kingdom. So, like, I played, like, Tears of Kingdom real recently as well. These two right here made the story feel fresh. Of course, I love the cutscenes, because I love cutscenes in, like, any video game, especially Zelda, of the franchise I love. This game is just wonderful, and that's about mainly all I got to say about the thing. These are, like, all my physicals for, like, Switch. I mean, like I said, most of these games are amazing. Some were let down. You know, take what you will. Don't hate me, I guess. But yeah, those are my thoughts on my physicals. But I want to mention my digitals as well. Mario Kart World, I already talked about it. Of course, I have it digitally, because that's how you get the bundle. And then, No Man's Sky. And then I have, like I said, I got Tears of Kingdom. I got the upgrade for it. I never finished beating it on my main Switch console. I have a side Switch console. I beat Tears of Kingdom on that. Then I never finished beating it on my main console, so I was like, well, Switch 2 upgrade, perfect time, beat it, great game, the Switch 2 made it so good, like, wonderful. Also, I want to mention that this game runs amazing on Switch 2, please play on the Switch 2 and not the Switch 1, or else you won't get a good experience. But yeah, you know, there's the Switch 2 edition, and then there's not really many other Switch 2 editions that I played. Yeah, there really isn't. Like, that's mainly my whole experience with Switch games so far. And I want to say, when I, like, saw the first Direct for the Switch 2, I was like, I'm gonna get that game, that guy. Realized time exists, and was like, I don't have time in this year to play those games. And also I realized, I'm not even into those franchises. What am I talking about? Metroid Prime 4, not gonna get it. Thought I was. Kirby Air Rise, not gonna get it. Thought I was. Some games, I was like, I'm gonna get those. And then when it came time to get them, I was like, no. You know, I'm not into those franchises. Don't just buy it to buy it. So, you know, that happened, I guess, but Switch games are amazing. They have made so many this year, and most of them are just wonderful. So, you know, I recommend the Switch 2, I guess. But I really only recommend it once one of your favorite games comes out. If there's a game that you hear will come out on it, buy it then, because I don't want you to just buy it because it's a new console. That's kind of what I did, but also, you know, this game was involved, and I wanted to buy it earlier to make videos on it. So that's why I kind of bought it earlier than I probably had to. But like I said, this game video, so that's why. But like, for an average gamer, really only buy this console if you hear a game's coming out on it. If you're an Animal Crossing fan, wait until an Animal Crossing game. Vice versa for any of Nintendo's franchises. Oh, but some honorable mentions. Some games that I really want to play, but just haven't gotten around to it yet, are Cyberpunk 2077. That's like the main thing I would say right now. Yeah, I really want to play that game, and it runs great on Switch 2 from the things I've seen. I kind of recommend it, even though I haven't played it, but I really want to, so that is definitely on my radar. And I also want to mention Pokemon Poketopia, which isn't out yet, but that game is basically my most anticipated game next year, not counting the next generation of Pokemon. I'm not counting it because it's not officially announced yet. So, officially announced games, yeah. Pokemon Poketopia, very excited for that. And it looks amazing. And I've made like 2 videos on it, so go check those out. Yeah, so that wraps up me just talking about like my gaming experience on the Switch 2. I mean, it's been amazing. Like, real fast, fantastic. The first game was fine. I mean, haven't played the second game. Jamboree is a good Mario Party, and then it has a great DLC. This one was a letdown, but still a great game. This one, fantastic. Like, just fantastic game. So yeah, those are my games. Okay, I've said a lot of positive things about the Switch 2 so far, So now you probably want to hear the reasons you shouldn't buy it, just so you cover all your bases. And now we're going to be talking about the cons, and there's not many. It's a great console, but there are a few. And first main one is the battery life. You may have heard some stuff about this, but I mean, 2 hours is not long, especially for when you're going to be playing a handheld on a car or a plane. I mean, 2 hours. There's a lot of trips that are longer than 2 hours. You can bring a charger, but you have to wait for it to charge, so battery life kind of just sucks. And then you have the data, there's not storage, sorry. Then you have the storage problem. There's not a lot of it. There's not storage much of it. Sorry, I can't speak today. So sorry. But yeah, there's just not much storage. And it has like 200 and something gigabytes, which may sound like a lot, but the main problem with it is they have game key cards. That's also another con. But game key cards, where it just activates a digital download of the game for your Switch too, and they suck. But yeah, they just mean you have to have space for it on your Switch too. And so that internal storage fills up so fast, you have to basically have an SD card for it. And I don't have an SD card for it, but I barely have any storage left. Like, if the next game I get is a game key card or just like an eShop game, I might have to go buy an SD card. And that's not good. They should put more storage on it, but like at the same time, that would just make it more of an expensive console, which the price, I mean, I paid $500 for mine. You can find it for $415, not including tax, and tax makes a big difference. But, what you gonna do about it? Like, price is fine, it's a decent price, it's about the same as PlayStation, I think. Xbox is ridiculous right now, so we won't get into that. I'll also have a video on that, but oh well. Yeah, like price. But yeah, game key cards though, that's something to look out for. I mean, it's pretty obvious to tell if it's a game key card, it'll say on the case. Besides Split Fiction, the physical for Split Fiction, it's actually kind of hard to tell. Keep in mind, if you ever see Split Fiction for Switch 2, it is a game key card, it may not look like it. But yeah, point is, game key cards suck, battery life sucks, storage sucks, but like, those are kind of things that you can get past. You can buy, charging packs or SD cards, or you could just avoid game key cards, which I guess that's stupid if you want the game to get it, but again, just maybe buy a really big SD card, which is ridiculous. You shouldn't have to pay more money for that, but like, you're forced to, so there are, be happy there are workarounds. But I also just want to real fast mention the pro of game key cards. You might be like, what are you speaking of? But yeah, there is one little pro, and that's the fact that physical game collecting is kind of something that's going out of style. You gotta think about movies or music, which a while ago, those were something you collected physical. You collected DVDs, or you collected records and stuff like that. But now it's on, you can just stream it online. And everyone generally agrees that was one of the best technology inventions. So, I mean, physical games are just going out of style now. And I just want people to be a little bit more happier that GameCube cards even exist. And I know you might be like, make it a physical, and there are a few exceptions where it's ridiculous that it isn't. But you gotta understand that some games are just so big, you cannot fit that physically on a cartridge. Because of that, I mean, at least you can have it physical. It's nice. And I'm not saying this is a workaround. It's not really a good workaround. And I have a whole video talking about game key cards, but my point is that it is weirdly kind of meeting in the middle. Not in a good way, but it is kind of where it's like, listen, physical games are going out of style, and games are getting too large to fit on cartridges. So you need to have them digitally downloaded. But a lot of people actually, love collecting physical. So Nintendo's like, let's meet in the middle. You get physical, it's just a download physical. I know it doesn't really apply, but like, you gotta understand that, I mean, that's just kind of what they were thinking. Try and make it work right. Those are like the main cons with the Switch 2. That's kind of about it. I mean, it's a good console, and I'm not trying to brag on it. You might think, how does it compare to other consoles? Like, why shouldn't I get a Steam Deck? And a lot of people say exclusives don't sell consoles anymore. That's kind of just doesn't apply to Nintendo. Exclusives sell their consoles. I kind of promise you that. Think about it. I, generally think if Nintendo's exclusives were on PlayStation, not really Xbox, but PlayStation, then everyone would just buy PlayStation, and PlayStation would destroy the gaming market. The only reason Xbox and Nintendo are here. Xbox, because, well, they probably won't be here for long unless they make different decisions, like PlayStation are, and, they're just making bad decisions, so they probably won't even be here for long. But anyone still Xbox fan is just there for nostalgia. And then Nintendo has exclusives. Exclusive sell consoles for Nintendo. It applies to Nintendo. Maybe not to Xbox or PlayStation anymore, but it definitely applies for Nintendo because they're not giving those games up. Mario, Zelda, Pokemon, Nintendo exclusives. My point of all that would just be that that's kind of why you should buy the consoles, the exclusives. I honestly may not even recommend this console to you if it didn't have the exclusives. But I mean, like I mentioned, some great games here that can only be played on a Nintendo Switch 1 or 2. So you kind of just have to, And I recommend the console for the games, not the console. If you want a handheld, Steam Deck's right there. But you buy this one for the for the exclusives, okay? If you want, like, a home console, go buy a PlayStation Pro or something. Buy something nicer than this. And I know, you might be like, you're trashing on Nintendo right now? This whole video is about it. You're trashing on it in this way, but it's true. For Nintendo, you want to know what is selling their consoles? Exclusives. Okay? Those are kind of like my cons about the Switch 2. And just, should you buy the Switch 2 in general? And you should, for the exclusives. I mean, Switch 2 is amazing. Go out, buy it, because you need to play these games. Capiche? Capiche. We're nearing the end of this video, and the last thing I want to talk about is if I regret buying this console, or at least do I regret it buying it this early on? And let me just real fast kind of talk to you through this, because I'm going to be repeating some stuff, but do I regret buying it? So, as you already know, I wasn't going to buy this immediately. I was going to wait a few months, but I couldn't. I wanted to make videos on it, and I was way too excited for Donkey Kong Bonanza, and I was let down by the game. So, and then I think about it, I'm like, okay, out of these games, out of all the games I've played, what are the games that, you know, you can't play on another console? Or what can you not play on a Switch 1, a console I already have? And honestly, it's Mario Kart World and these two. These were the games I have, and I love this game, and then mixed feelings. So, you know, should I have bought it this early? Because I didn't really need this game. Could have gone something else. And then Pokemon Legends ZA, that also came out on the Switch 1. So, the videos did push it. So I think, honestly, but Donkey Kong Bonanza did not exist, or if I go back in time, let me say it this way. If I could go back in time, I did not make YouTube videos, I would tell myself, wait to buy the console until the bundle for ZA comes out. That's what I would do, and I would get that bundle. Mario Kart World's a game, and if I did that, I could get the game physical, you know, and it's fun to have physical. And, yeah. But one problem with that would, of course, being I couldn't have ZA physical. I'd rather have that physical than Mario Kart World. But, you know, that's fine, I guess. But since I make videos, I was kind of like, well, I need to go ahead and do it. You can't really be a Nintendo news creator without, you know, having the newest console. So, I kind of need to buy it for my videos, but, I'm not upset about my purchase. I love it, and I wouldn't go back because of the videos. But if the videos didn't exist, those kind of pushed me through. So, I want to thank my videos. I want to thank all of you, of course, but I want to thank the fact that I make videos, because this is one of the best decisions I ever made. I love my Switch 2. So, if I didn't, of course, there's Donkey Kong Bonanza, but I'm tired of talking about it, so I just pretend it doesn't exist. Like, if I didn't make those videos and Donkey Kong Bonanza, you know, wasn't screwing with me, then I could have not and bought this, and I would regret that. I love this. So, I'm thankful of the fact that I decided to make videos. Of course, I want to make YouTube videos my whole life. Only got the ability this year, you know. Of course, thank you to all my fans, which I know not many so far, but thank you to the few that are there. I love this console. I hope you love this video. Yeah, and that's gonna kind of wrap it up. So, do I regret buying the Switch 2? No, but I do have the thoughts about it sometimes. Should I have waited for the ZA bundle? And honestly, no, but, only barely no. You know, if I didn't have the videos, Donkey Kong Bonanza, and physicals and all that didn't exist. There's a lot of variables involved in my videos. But, honestly, that's gonna wrap it up for today's video. I hope you loved it. I loved it. I love just yapping about the thing I love. Got all my games. Here's my Switch 1 games. Got some down here, too. Peace out, everyone.